Thanks for watching this year's presentation on trends in experiential design. Well, all the projects that I'll be talking about today have either just opened or are starting to trend within the last year or so. In order to really understand the common principles that bind these case studies together, we have to go back in time a bit further, about 40,000 years or so, when our ancestors first began to tell stories via beautiful cave paintings. These pictures would animate and come to life over firelight, and because recent research has shown that early cave dwellers were capable of complex speech, it is now believed that they would hold storytelling sessions within these immersive, naturally theatrical environments. Engaging stories told within immersive and theatrical environments that connect to audiences in a personal manner. A pretty simple yet powerful concept. Over time, the techniques we've used to tell stories certainly have evolved. From the written word in tablets, scrolls, and books, and back to tablets, to the theater, to movies, from silent films, to talkies, to color movies, drive-ins, 3D movies, Aromarama, Smell-O-Vision, IMAX, and back to 3D movies. We created 4D movies, and then we quickly began to add a number of Ds to the experience, from 5D to 6D, 7D, 8D, and the holy grail of all cinema, 9D, which I have really no idea what that is. Technology then allowed us to bring those stories home through VHS and beta, laserdiscs and DVDs, and to the streaming video of today. And of course, the manner in which we tell stories within museums and science centers, theme parks and attractions has changed over the years. While the techniques have changed as new technologies have become available, the idea of immersing audiences within a story that resonates with them personally has been the constant for thousands of years. And storytellers have adapted the ways in which they tell stories to better relate to ever-changing audiences. So with that in mind, let's take a look at some recent examples of new ways that modern-day storytellers are engaging their audiences. If a good experience starts with story, what if your audience doesn't give you the attention or time required to deliver that story? More specifically, what if you wanted to sell short stories to a young, mobile, technology-driven audience with short attention spans? The creators of Hooked took on this challenge and looked to create a Twitter for Fiction mobile app that makes reading addictive for teens. After research showed that even traditional short stories were too long for some readers to finish, the idea came to create stories that are told via text message conversations. Instead of turning pages, you tap the screen to bring on the next message, as if you're a character in the story. Let's take a look. If you want to find out what happens next, you have to download the app. There are a variety of story channels to choose from creepy to thrilling to romantic. In addition to featuring the work of professional writers, the latest version of the app invites users to submit their own short stories that will be available for all users to read. This type of flash fiction is certainly nothing new, but the creators have adapted the content to appeal to their specific audience, using a format that this audience is most comfortable in using. The app's creator, Purna Gupta, points out, "We don't think fiction is dying, but there's room for improvement in the way that it's currently presented and produced." Story is typically the basis for all memorable guest experiences because it's the best way in which we can evoke emotion, whether it's joy, hope, fear, melancholy, or sadness. But what if an experience was just based on pure emotion without a narrative context at all? This is the premise behind Anger Rooms. After witnessing the violence and aggression in her Southside Chicago neighborhood, 16-year-old Donna Alexander decided to create an outlet for people to let go of their anger. Donna grabbed a bunch of old furniture and electronics and invited her friends to come smash them up in her garage. Before she knew it, random people started showing up to take a swing. She soon realized she might be onto something, and her Anger Room concept was born. Now customers can make an appointment to destroy rooms that simulate an actual office, living area, or kitchen, all to the soundtrack of their choice. Prices range from a $25 5-minute I need a break package to a $75 25-minute demolition package. Her idea was a huge hit, welcoming 500 visitors per month to its Dallas area location, and her recent pop-up Anger Rooms in LA and New York sold out months in advance. Visitors come not just to unload after being dumped or laid off, they also come for date nights, bachelor or bachelorette parties, and even corporate team building exercises. The result is a combination of mental and physical therapy that provides participants with a safe outlet in which to let go of their emotions. Okay, show of hands. Who out there has a friend or family member who is way into video gaming, or posting pictures or comments on various social media outlets, such as Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or all of the above? Almost everyone. Which begs the question, why are these experiences so popular, and how can we create attractions that tap into this culture? I think the answer is in that in each of these instances, the audience is the star of their own story, the engine of their own adventure. As experience creators, we have a unique opportunity to create environments which let our audiences shine. My friend Darren David of Stimulant recently stated in a presentation that the best experiences don't create magic, but create magicians. I love this quote as it beautifully conveys our opportunity to create attractions where guests can have a direct impact on their experience, which makes it all the more personal and memorable. The next two projects illustrate this philosophy and the impact that these experiences can have from both an experiential and more personal standpoint. Open Camp Barcelona is housed within the city's 1992 Olympic Stadium and has breathed new life and energy into a formerly dormant facility while remaining true to its original purpose. Guests can start off with Open Walk, where you can imagine you are representing your country at the opening ceremonies of the Olympic Games, carrying your country's flag as you walk around the stadium to musical fanfare. Then it's off to experience the true appeal of Open Camp, the chance for guests of all ages and abilities to try their hand at more than 25 sports, from archery to boxing. The twist is that Open Camp is designed to provide guests with 1 minute for each sporting experience, 1 minute of glory, so it's great for guests with short attention spans. Outside on the track, guests can test their speed in a 100-meter dash, try out the hurdles, or compete against other visitors in a Paralympics wheelchair race. As guests make their way from event to event, music is pumped throughout the stadium to set the mood and keep the energy high. Now it's off to the indoor exhibits, where guests can step into a one-of-a-kind soccer arena, hop aboard a motorcycle simulator, shoot baskets on an interactive court, or test your accuracy with a virtual rifle or bow. At the end of your visit, make your way to the podium to celebrate your accomplishments to the sounds of cheers within the Olympic Stadium. Here's Open Camp. Regardless of your athletic skill, Open Camp gives every visitor the opportunity to feel like a champion, if only for a moment, and that personal feeling of accomplishment is what sets the experience apart. It may seem counterintuitive, but an innovative experience doesn't have to be entirely original. Sometimes mixing up a classic for a new audience can have great results. We all remember summer camp as kids, canoe rides, pillow fights, and s'mores by the fire. But in an increasingly technological and fast-paced world, many adults are looking to go back in time and relive the camp experience. On average, 1 million adults, yes, you heard that correctly, 1 million adults are now attending camp each year. For those looking for a true adult camp experience, venues like Camp No Counselors and Camp Throwback advertise no kids, an open bar, and plenty of opportunities for companionship. Conversely, at Camp Grounded, digital technology is out. In fact, at an arrival ceremony, campers line up and hand over their gadgets to counselors dressed in hazmat suits, who carefully put them in brown bags and leave them in a robot decontamination area. There's also no work talk, drugs, or alcohol, as attendees are encouraged to be present, to be free, and just play. Here's Campgrounded.
Hey there. In the air, through the trees. Camp is a safe place where you can be yourself and just have fun.
It's a digital detox. No cell phones, no computers, no cameras. You were completely off the grid.
It was fun to just be free.
Met a lot of people. I got to show up in a way that I don't think I've shown up in the world.
It was the best thing that I've done.
Not only are you accepted, but you are celebrated.
Everyone was being present, everyone was supporting each other, everyone was loving each other, everyone was playing with each other.
Running into somebody who just has a huge smile on their face, and you're like, what are you smiling about?
Being around inspiring, talented, creative people with intentions can profoundly change you in a very short period of time.
If you just be the best you that you can be, people are going to gravitate to that.
It doesn't matter if you're a musician or if you're the CEO of the company when you're doing archery.
I expressed myself more in 4 days at camp than I had in probably 4 years.
And just to remember that I'm a little kid on this planet. Camp is something that we should try to do every day, to be grounded, to be ourselves, to smile, to
Let go and be huge and big and exciting and play and maybe cry and laugh and sing and dance.
It's actually turned into this whole group of people that we spend a lot of time with now. It's really been life-changing in that way.
There are camps for every kind of enthusiast, from wine camp to space camp, band camp to rock and roll camp. There's even a pizza camp. All these camps invite participants to disconnect to reconnect and journey back to simpler times. The common theme is replacing digital isolation with human interaction. Human interaction is also starting to become an integral part of some of the theme park industry's newest attractions. One of the latest examples can be found here in Orlando, where Skull Island at Universal's Islands of Adventure takes guests on a thrilling journey to the land of Kong. While the queues in some attractions are almost afterthoughts, the queue for Skull Island is an attraction unto itself through its use of live actors. Guests enter through a sculpture of King Kong and journey to the Temple of the Natives through a queue line that has been called freaky as hell by the media. The queuing experience consists of a variety of dark, narrow corridors and claustrophobic rooms where guests meet a variety of tribal characters through a range of media and other techniques, such as an animatronic shawoman who warns guests that they are trespassing on sacred land. But perhaps most terrifying are the live actors who appear randomly throughout the queue to give the guests an authentic fright. By the time you arrive at base camp to board the expedition truck, you're completely immersed in the story and a bit freaked out. The trackless ride vehicle enters an 80-foot tall temple, and a 360-degree 4D film takes you on a journey to rescue one of the expedition's leaders from a variety of terrifying creatures. I won't show you the main attraction interior, but needless to say, you're right in the middle of some pretty intense action. Live actors are also heavily featured within the new Shrek Adventure in London, which combines projection animation, lighting, sound, 4D effects, and audience participation to provide guests with a one-of-a-kind walkthrough experience. To magically transport the audience from London to far, far away, guests enter a magic bus, which can only be powered by the audience singing "I'm a Believer." Once they hop off the bus, a live actor, dressed as Princess Fiona, guides visitors through 10 different scenes from the films, brought to life in astonishing multisensory detail. In each scene, live actors engage the audience in a variety of interactive experiences that move the story along and keep the audience thoroughly engaged. In addition, a variety of clever media techniques and animatronics bring the movie's various characters to life.
Hey, this is Donkey here. You've never seen this before because this attraction's brand new. It's DreamWorks Tours Shrek's Adventure London with a bus that flies. Step into the world's first Shrek's Adventure and experience a bonkers, brilliant, brand new attraction. You can become a hero like me, Donkey, and help save the day. So come on, y'all. Don't just watch the story, be part of the story. It's next to the London Eye. You know that, right? It's famous, like me.
If a story has been told to millions of people for thousands of years, how do you keep it fresh and engaging for modern audiences? This was the question that the ministry Answers in Genesis asked as they looked for a new way to tell the story of Noah's Ark. Whether or not you believe in what the Ark encounter represents, the $102 million biblical theme park in Williamstown, Kentucky can only be described as epic. Built according to biblical dimensions, the 510-foot-long, 51-foot-high Ark is the largest timber frame structure in the world. The Ark's 132 exhibit bays and displays include sculpted animals in wooden cages, from lions and tigers and bears to dinosaurs. Other exhibits include a recreation of Noah's living quarters and displays about how the ship functioned, including how the animals were fed. More than 400,000 visitors have flooded to the Ark encounter since its July opening, and the ministry is already considering an expansion. Immersive environments aren't just for telling stories about life on Earth, they can also help transport audiences to the far reaches of space to educate and entertain. Lockheed Martin's Generation Beyond initiative seeks to prepare America's students for deep space exploration by bringing space science to homes and classrooms across the country. One of their techniques, launched this past April, was to take school groups on an out-of-this-world field trip.
We had to build technology that didn't exist.
You could see like what we were going by on the screens, and then you could feel it, so it felt like, oh, we're going past that. Oh, now I feel that we're going past that. It felt real.
We had to invent a way for transparent windows to become high-def displays.
Currently, with the VR headsets, it does isolate you, whereas this, particularly with the children, they were able to point things out to each other to really enjoy the experience communally.
Someone in my generation, someone in school today, could be the first people on Mars.
With this project, we've moved from classic reality to virtual reality, and I believe that we're really just at the dawn of the VR revolution. And while there's still some growing pains, more and more at-home and location-based virtual reality opportunities are coming online every day. For example, you can now watch NBA games live and in streaming virtual reality on Tech Tuesdays. Role-play as astronaut Mark Watney in the Martian VR experience. Experience one of USA Today's online VR stories, or virtually visit a Smithsonian exhibit. All that being said, one of the major drawbacks of many current virtual reality attractions is that they're isolated, solitary experiences. The next two projects have solved this challenge in order to create attractions that are both immersive and social. First is Ghostbusters Dimension, a very cool attraction which opened at Madame Tussauds in Manhattan this past July. I got to experience this attraction a few weeks ago, and while it's certainly not perfect, it's an amazingly immersive experience that showcases the powerful potential of what is being called hyperreality by its creator, The Void out of Utah. In hyperreality, instead of being confined to a chair or one room, players are free to wander together as they make their way through a maze-like series of rooms mapped to the headset. Want to virtually open a door? Then you have to physically open the door within the environment. Special effects like wind, smells, and suit vibrations complete the immersion. The attraction begins with groups of 3 guests suiting up as Ghostbusters, complete with a helmet, a proton pack, and a gun. The headset contains a set of virtual reality goggles, which transforms a series of physical rooms into a haunted New York City apartment, while the vest houses all of the computing components and cables necessary to power the headset, as well as haptics that vibrate at key moments. For example, in one very creepy scene, the ghost of this little girl moves through you as the vest vibrates. Another great aspect of the experience is that you can see and talk to your fellow Ghostbusters in real time as you make your way through the apartment, making this a truly social experience. For example, within the attraction's finale, my fellow Ghostbusters and I talked over our headsets about crossing our laser streams to destroy the giant Stay Puft character, which we did and then began to smell burnt marshmallows. Here's Ghostbusters Dimension.
Try to tell you you ain't ready. Have you ever seen a man not afraid to die? Gave his life for a dream. Born hustler, so the game conceived. A caged beast, but now I'm free. How can you blame me? I was born for this. The game chose me. Now I've been training for this my whole life. Carpe diem, seize the moment, right. We gon' turn up and rock plenty ice. This is our time. Yeah, about that life. I'm a street dude, teach dudes to think quicker. Would take over the world, but yo, I dream bigger. Never satisfied, I'm trying to be richer. And cry a little bit for those who ain't with us. Ready. I don't get ready, I stay ready. Cause the consequences is heavy. My man D said, we'll never quit. Even though the thing is like a 7 boy, ready. My whole clique since 06. The money was slow, but now it's ready. You boys is not ready.
One of the challenges of hyperreality attractions like Ghostbusters Dimension is their throughput, and that you're pulsing small groups through one physical environment, and if anyone stops for longer than they're supposed to, the whole system is disrupted. For example, when I went through the attraction, they had to stop us 2/3 of the way through our journey as another group was lingering in a room ahead of us. So we had to take off our goggles and walk back through the house-lit environment to start all over again. I had the opportunity to visit the Cavoo Studios in Victoria, Canada this past summer to try out a mock-up of their new Dreamcraft VR that combines virtual reality with a motion simulator, which solves this throughput problem, while still allowing for multiple players who can see each other and communicate in real time as you navigate the virtual world. First, you select your avatar and customize your outfit. You can even earn or purchase magical merchandise that gives you special abilities within the virtual world. Next, you enter a themed room and take your place upon one of several personal simulators. Once you put on the VR goggles, you enter the virtual world. During my visit, I tried out their dragon-themed storyline, where the motion, wind effects, surround sound, and virtual backdrop completely immersed me within a magical environment where I directed the story and affected its outcome. In this short video, you'll see the player directing where they want their dragon to fly. You can see the other players beside them in the environment. And you can see the interaction as the guests try to collect a variety of magical dragon eggs. Our final case study combines all the techniques we've discussed today: a strong storyline, immersive environments, theatricality, live actors, and virtual reality, to completely immerse guests in a truly chilling manner. Thorpe Park Merlin Entertainment and master illusionist Darren Brown have created a new cutting-edge attraction that Brown describes as a 13-minute journey through fear. Guests enter a Victorian train depot, where they get their first taste of the underlying story about the discovery of a new energy source that might have dangerous repercussions. After a holographic encounter with Brown, guests arrive at the centerpiece of the experience, a 60-foot Victorian train carriage suspended in midair. But all is not what it seems. Once they enter, visitors find themselves within a modern interior themed like a London Underground train. Uniformed staff members hastily instruct riders to take their seats and put on their anti-contamination masks, which are actually VR headsets. Then the nightmare begins. As guests look through their headsets, other passengers appear to board the train, warning riders of the dangers to come. Then the train stops, the doors open, and a fully infected zombie climbs aboard. The lights suddenly turn back on, revealing the VR zombie just inches from the riders' faces. This is just one of 24 possible VR story sequences featured in Ghost Train, which, as Brown states, rewrites the rules of what theme parks can do. As this last project illustrates, we're really at a fascinating time in the visitor experience industry. Our audiences are seeking fantasy-based social experiences that utilize the latest technologies to provide them with an escape from reality, while simultaneously yearning for authentic, personal experiences that use simple, analog techniques that help to better connect them with their own reality. As creators of visitor experiences, we now have an incredible set of tools and techniques in order to satisfy each of these desires, and an amazing opportunity to do so in a uniquely memorable fashion. With that, we've come to the end of this year's presentation on experiential trends. I hope you've enjoyed learning about these case studies as much as I have. Thanks for watching.